Hi students, and welcome back to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you have had a good week and I hope you're looking forward to an even better weekend. Welcome Nipa, hi Anna, Jaheda, Preet, David, Kruti. Nice to see so many subscribers ready to learn. Everybody, this is a subscribers chat class. In order to join in on the chat and the fun, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is absolutely free. You just have to hit that subscribe button on the channel. Welcome, Carolina, our chat moderator. Awesome to have you here with us. Everybody, this is an IELTS listening section. We're going to hear a discussion between a student and her professor, and we're going to hear a lecture about the infamous dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, also commonly known as the T-Rex. The listening materials are coming from our websites, which we use to power these lessons. The listening is coming from aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com from the second exam for those of you who do have access to the premium versions of the website. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. And all you have to do to join the premium version is spend a little bit of money, click the big red button that's just right above my head there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so you can use it long after the IELTS exam to continue learning English and mastering communication. We're an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, an IELTS test registration center, and we help thousands of students succeed on their IELTS every single month. So you are in great hands with us. General IELTS, gieltshelp.com, green background. Again, the big red button that's right above my head there. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access, and you can use the code currency9. It's from our most recent video where we use our reading passage about currency substitution is the example, and a band 9 student reveals their secrets to getting that perfect score. So I'll share that video with you in just a moment. But currency 9 will get you an extra 10% off the premium version of the course. We'll come back here in a little bit and start the audio for the listening section. You can also use the websites via the apps, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. And you can also follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AE Help and GIELTS Help. We've got almost 100,000 followers on IELTS_AE Help. It's getting really exciting there for us. If you have questions, I know that MJT in the last class said, can we have some time for questions? I will leave some time for questions at the end of this class. So if you have questions about the IELTS, questions about the listening section, or other questions about the IELTS or English, I will give 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the class, and we can even do that like through the chat on the website. You can ask me some questions, okay? So I'll give you a chance for that. aehelp.com for emails, or admin@aehelp.com. You can also send your inquiries there. Students, tomorrow we will also have classes. We will have speaking part 2, speaking part 3. You can, again, get updates on our live class schedules through becoming a subscriber on YouTube, and also by following us on Instagram. We post our schedules there. That reading video I just mentioned, you can check it out. Here it is in the chat. It's really good. It's with a candidate who scored band 9 on the IELTS academic reading 3 times. She's a Vietnamese candidate, very good at English, very good communicator, and she's got some good tips for you there, Trang. All right, IELTS listening strategies, the 2 big ones that many of you have heard me say before. One is visualize information. And the other one, of course, is to be an active listener and think critically. Okay. Think critically, logically. Critical and logical thinking are synonymous. Logical thinking is critical thinking. Okay. How should you visualize information? So what should you do when you're hearing information? So right now we're going to hear about the T-Rex, right? The T-Rex, as many of you saw in the thumbnail, the T-Rex is this is going to be the part 4. Maybe I should start with the part 3 first, right? So anyway, but part 4 will be a T-Rex. So part 4, T-Rex, right? So if you visualize information, then what should you kind of do? What do you need to pay attention to? Some of you that are in these classes regularly should know the answer to this, right? So again, we're doing listening. We're going to listen. We will do an official IELTS listening section, but I want you to know this before we start. You need to think about this before we start. So T-Rex is a dinosaur, obviously. And there is our T-Rex, or my T-Rex anyway. Okay, it looks like that. There you go. There's my T-Rex. Should have done him in green. We'll give him a couple of teeth. There we go. Some teeth in his mouth. We'll give him a little ear. There we go. He's got little ears. We'll give him some little spikes on his head, like that. Okay. So there's our T-Rex. There's my T-Rex. Riyadh, T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Tyrannosaurus Rex. So when I'm visualizing the T-Rex, what should I do? So when I'm listening to this, what should I do? And part 3 will be about a student who meets the professor. So student... If you like my drawings, I also offer art classes. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. I do like art though, but I don't offer art classes. So there's the student. Okay, here's the professor. All right. We'll give the professor some glasses there. And we'll give him a little hat, little professor's hat. I don't know. So student meets the professor. That's part 3. Part 4 is the T-Rex. You're visualizing. What should you see? MTG says, I see Barney. I don't see T-Rex. That's good. All right. So what do you see? One Pablo says, I see the tiny arms. Okay. All right. It's not bad for drawing with a mouse, right? Anyway. Preet says the professor is very slim. Preet, are your professors usually a little bit plump? You might want to draw them a little bit rounder then, right? Like that. Okay. A little bit more of a belly. Professor that's got a bit of a belly and the hat like that, all right? Okay, so what do you need to do? This is still, I'm still looking for that answer. So what do you need to do? You need to do something here. Okay, let me tell you what can improve your scores for the listening section. This is a big tip. Listen up. Become a part of it. Okay, so what's really, really important when you're visualizing effectively is become a part of the visualization. Okay. Make the brain active. Okay, make it active. When the brain feels like it's a part of the information, it just works 10 times better. Okay, so when you're visualizing the situation with the professor, then what you want to do is you want to include yourself. So this is you, this is me. Right? Okay. And the professor should be somebody you know. Okay. One of my favorite professors in the University of Victoria, my psychology program, was Professor Ron Skelton for biopsychology. So this is my Professor Skelton I'm meeting with here. Okay. And if you're not in university yet, you obviously can just pick a teacher. Okay. All right. So there's Professor Skelton. There's me. I'm going to go to his office and talk to him about the courses, what I need to do, when I need to do it, how I need to do it. That's my critical thinking, right? And with the T-Rex, you know what? I'm going to ride the T-Rex. Why not? My pet T-Rex. That's me on top of my pet T-Rex. Woohoo! Okay, my adventurer's hat. There we go. My little backpack there. All right. Sure. Okay. I'm riding Barney, MTG. I'm riding the T-Rex. Okay, I'm a part of it. That's what you want to do. You want to be a part of what you see. See it clearly, be a part of it. Get your brain to participate. When it's participating, it is learning, it is thinking, it is moving, okay? If you just kind of like, whatever, it's some people talking blah, 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 English, then your brain just doesn't do the same, okay? All right, so become a part of your visualization. Make the brain active, okay? Everybody clear on that? Yes? Thumbs up? All is good. Active listening means active visualization, meaning being a part of the information. Okay. All right. Good. Critical thinking. Always ask what, why, how. So, about the information. Okay, that's what you need to do. Okay. All right, everybody. So let's do some listening. We're going to listen. We will talk more strategy. We'll go through the answers together. Again, we're using our websites for this. So for premium course users, it's test 2. Okay. Put on your headset if you got it. Okay. In the IELTS exams, you usually, these days, you are now using headsets for the listening. All right. So let's jump to the listening. Again, this is section 3, and it is CD2 track 3 in the online course. Okay. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to hop over to the website. I will play the audio, answer the questions as we go through it. You're going to see me take some actions while we do this. I will explain those afterwards and the strategies that we're using there. So let's do this, everybody. You should see the questions on your screen. This is what the paper-based version of IELTS looks like. The computer-based version looks a little bit different, but same idea. Okay. All right, here we go, everyone. Visualize, include yourself, think critically, okay? This is our website here. Again, you can join the premium version of the course by clicking the big red button. That's just right above my head. Once you have done that, you can go to your My Student account. You've got your computer-based practice exams at the top. You've got your interactive course. You've got your downloadable paper-based exams as well. And then you've got your videos, lesson videos, strategies, and your audio CDs for the listening section. This is test 2, so it's CD2, and it is going to be, we'll probably get rid of the whole CD thing. People, I don't know, some young people might not even know what CDs are anymore these days. What's a CD? Okay. Anyway, this is CD2. And this is track 3 because it is listening part 3. Listen, answer. Do not put your answers in the chat. Put them somewhere else and share them after. That way it's fair for everyone. Here we go.
Now turn to section 3. Take some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Listening section 3. You will hear a student and her professor talking about their class. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Come in, Laura.
Thanks a lot for making the time to see me, Professor Gorman. As I mentioned in my email, I've been very ill this past week, And missing the first week of school is not a good way to start the term.
Indeed, it's not a very good start at all, but I think you can overcome it. You had a good grade in my course last term, and I'm sure this absence is just a bump in the road as far as this term goes. Now, what would you like to discuss?
Well, I don't even have a syllabus, so maybe you could give me one and then we could go over it in some detail.
Yes, that would be sensible. Let me grab your syllabus. Here you go. As you see, the class meets each Monday and Thursday from 10 to 11:30 in room A313 of the Juliet building. Do you know where that is?
Yes, the Juliet building is right next to the Student Union building, correct?
Yes, that's right. Okay, so next are my office hours. I hold them each Monday and Wednesday from 2:30 to 4 in the afternoon. If these do not work for you, feel free to send me an email and we can make arrangements to meet at another time. Now, let's discuss the books you'll need. As you see on the syllabus, there are 2 books you'll need for this course. You need not purchase either of them, however, as there are several copies of each available in the library.
I like keeping my books for future reference, so I would prefer to buy both books. Are they available in the bookshop?
The first one is, but the second one must be purchased from Buster's Books. Do you know where Buster's Books is located?
Roughly, but do you have an address?
Yes. The address is 3419 Young Street in Brighton.
Right, I know where that is. Do you know how much the books cost, approximately?
I think the one at the university bookshop is about £20 and the one at Buster's is about £15. So that's a total of £35 for the 2 of them.
You now have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the discussion and answer questions 27 to 30.
Great. Can we talk a little about the coursework required?
Of course. There are 2 essays, 1 midterm exam and 1 final exam.
Wow, that's a lot of coursework.
Yes, but at this level I don't believe in just having 1 essay or 1 final exam determine your entire mark in a class. I like arranging it so that a student can have a chance to reflect on their ability and understanding of materials throughout the term.
That makes sense. So what are the percentages associated with each assignment and exam?
The first essay is worth 15%, the second is worth 25%, the midterm exam is worth 20%, and the final exam is worth 40%. Would you like to talk about the first essay? It is due next Friday.
Yes, could we?
Of course. The essay should be approximately 1,500 words and the topic must be chosen from the list.
And can I get a copy of the list?
There is one attached to your syllabus.
Right. So do we have to tell you what topic we are writing on beforehand?
No, it's all right. You only have to notify me if you want to do a topic that is not on the list.
Right. Is the essay due in class or can we submit it by email?
I will accept essays without penalty until midnight after the class it's due. So yes, you can submit it by email, hand it in during class or submit it to the department office. If you submit it to the office, make sure to get a timestamp put on it so that I can be sure the paper was submitted on time. And also, be sure to make...
That is the end of section 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students, check those answers. Now, I hope that, again, you were active when you did this. So you were in the class, you were in the office with the professor. It was you were talking to the professor. You were finding out information about the coursework, the location of the classes, the office hours. And thankfully, a lot of this information was mentioned 2-3 times, and that's very common for the IELTS. You probably saw me
Now
do that
turn
where I
to
put like a
section
little
4.
X times 2. Sorry,
Take
let
some
me just
time
stop
to look
that
at
audio.
questions
Here it
31
is.
to
The
40.
next audio starting for us. Here we go. Let's stop that. We'll get there soon. Section 4. or part 4. Yeah, so they give you the answer. So be patient. Don't panic if you think you missed the first answer. Wait for it to come again, okay? Never panic, students. This is a very important tip for everybody, okay? Never panic in IELTS, okay? Answers are often repeated, and logic can help you frequently. And I'll show you some examples of that as well, okay? So never panic. Panicking is bad, bad, bad. That's when you lose your thinking. That's when you lose your English. So never, never panic, okay? Everybody clear on that? Yeah? Everybody clear on the never panic part? Okay. David, the accents are British accents in the audio, obviously, from different parts of the UK. Okay, good. I see some thumbs up there. That's great. Never, never panic, okay? Again, a lot of the answers are often repeated. Okay, so here, question 21. Why does the student go to see the professor? So I realized that, this is a question, and they usually don't say questions in the audio. They say statements. So I thought maybe she'll say something like, or the student will say something like, I'm here for. She doesn't quite say that. She says, I have been very ill, right? And I missed the, right? So always listen for the statements in the multiple choice and listen for the answer. And then I can match it up. She has been in the hospital. She has been ill. She registered late. So like David and Anna, we realize that, okay, the correct answer here is B. She has been very ill. Okay, she doesn't talk about being at the hospital. Never, never, never add your own information to the listening or reading sections, okay? You have to be very, very careful about that. There's a couple of questions that can kind of trick you in that way, okay? So never add your own ideas or information to the reading or listening section information, as this will lead to incorrect answers. Okay, only use the given information. Makes sense, right? There's quite a few of those little tricky questions where you can naturally add that idea. You'd be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense in your head, but not in the information, okay? Again, academic IELTS, this is testing for that kind of university or college thinking where you use information that's given. You don't assume, okay? There's a very strong saying about assumption. Some of you might know it, okay? Don't write it into the chat because I don't think YouTube will allow you to use that expression. But anyway, assumption leads to problems, all right? Okay, so never assume information. Okay, and then we're given this form. So the professor sees the student, you, go into the room and talk about the syllabus. The syllabus is basically the course outline or information sheet. In many, many Western schools, universities, that's basically your first day of class. You go, you meet your professor, they give you the syllabus, and they go over the syllabus and talk about it in some detail. What you can expect from the class, where you're expected to be, what kind of assignments you have to do. So, you get a general overview of your semester responsibilities. That's your syllabus. Okay, class times, Monday and Thursday. That's right. So Monday is the correct answer there. Absolutely. Okay, Monday and Thursday, yes, with a big M, right? Make sure you use a big M. The location, again, they say it twice, at least. So Anna says it's the Juliet building, and they don't spell it. You could use the English or the French spelling. When they don't spell it and there are multiple ways to spell it, they'll take both the spellings, okay? So here it will be the Juliet building, or Juliet, like that if you're using the French way to spell Juliet. They might not spell very common names. So they're not going to go, oh, is that building spelled in the French or is it? No, they're not going to say that. It's going to be a natural conversation. Very common names like Juliet, Romeo, Mike, John, Sarah, Kate. They kind of expect that you are able to spell those names, especially if you're a band 7 or 8 or 9. So band 7, 8, 9 candidates on the IELTS can spell common English and international names. A lot of these names aren't just English. Like some people will say, well, I don't know English names. It's not just an English name. Juliet is also a Latin-based name. It's in Spanish, it's in French, it's in other languages as well. Some languages are some names are quite international these days. The name Mohammed, the name Lee, these are common names and you should know the spellings without having to learn them. Okay. All right. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Number 24. So here we're filling in the details, but for number 24, it's the category, right? If you just write office, Jofi, you will get it wrong. It has to be office hours. You need both words here. Office hours. Okay, if you use capitals, it's fine. If you use lowercase, it's fine. But you need both words. Office Monday and Wednesday is not accurate enough. Okay, it has to be the collocation. It has to be office hours. So office hours, good. A lot of you got that. David, Bepul, Minnie, smiling. Very good. Okay, the required books, they talk about 2 books. I hope you really visualize that. Again, you're sitting in the office, you've got 2 books, or the prof is showing you 2 books. Book 1, book 2, this one at the library, this one at Buster's Books, this one is £20, this one is £15. So, and what you could do here as well is you could categorize them. So when you have multiple items in listening, you could use your notes to create categories and information. So okay, so when you have a dichotomy means 2 categories, okay? Of information in the listening section. You can use your note paper to record key information. So what I might do on my note paper here, and in the computer-based exam, you have a piece of paper, is I might like draw 2 books. So I might go, okay, book 1, book 2, especially if I can see that there's quite a bit of information. Okay, so library, £20. Book 2, Buster's, and £15. Okay, so I might do like a quick like that. All right. Sometimes there's quite a bit more information, so there's like 3 or 4 pieces of information and questions based on each category, and then those notes can be very, very helpful. Okay, does that make sense, that strategy? And you can see that when you're doing your review, so you can go, oh, book 1, book 2. Sometimes it's a table or a chart where they actually have like the 2 categories, and then you can kind of visualize it, right? So you're basically doing the same here. Okay. All right. So it's an effective way, and when you practice that at home, definitely it can be a very powerful way to stay on track and stay focused. Okay. Now Buster's, you have to make sure it's a capital B, right? Okay. So number 25 was 20 for sure. Okay. Okay, £20. Really, this symbol for pounds should be kind of here. Let's say, okay. So all you have to do there, though, is the number 20 because the symbol is given. And here it's Buster's books. Buster's books. It belongs to Buster. Buster's books. It's his books. Okay? So Buster's books. And it's not Baster, it's Buster. Okay? Even so, like some of you are like, well, I don't know how to spell that, right? Don't forget that the IELTS is testing band 0 to 9. So somebody who didn't show up, or people with a lower level of English, all the way to expert English. Okay? And it's definitely not an A because that would be Baster's books, right? So some questions will have answers that test your ability to spell words based on your understanding of English and listening. Don't panic if you don't get it right away. Write down what you think and then practice the spelling when you're reviewing your answers. Here it's Buster's books. Okay, bust. And a band 7, 8, 9 level candidate will know that the word bust, B-U-S-T, has multiple meanings. And so buster is simply B-U-S-T with an E-R. Okay? If that's really confusing and strange for you, it means that you need to practice a little bit of English spelling based on hearing words. Does that make sense? Okay. So Buster's books, right? So David says, OMG, I lost 2 scores due to spelling. Okay, so David, what you need to do then, okay, and it's a good point to kind of digress on, all right? If you are losing points because of spelling, you must practice English spelling based on sounds. There are so many great and fun apps for this. Okay, it's a great tool to add to your practice. And remember, students, it's not just for IELTS. It's also for university. And many of you might be thinking, oh, well, in university, I'll just use my computer and the spell check will help me and ChatGPT will be accurate and so on and so forth. But don't forget, you have to write exams in university where you can't have the assistance of computers, okay? So keep in mind that you do not have spelling software to help during exams and quizzes in university. So you must have good spelling. Okay. All right. Everybody clear on that? Okay. So the importance of spelling and using spelling apps. Okay. Keep that in mind. Yes. How many of you have a spelling app on your phone? I'm just curious how many people actually do this. So before I go on to the rest of part 3 questions, how many of you actually right now, if you open your phone, have an app, and how many of you actually use it? I'm just curious if you can just give me like an I do or me, or you know what, even share the app, the name of the app. Can anybody? Anna says Fluent U app is good for spelling. So see it in the chat, you're already getting some tips on what you can look for. So Anna says Fluent U app is a good for spelling one. Carolina, which one do you use? Alex, Grammarly is a spelling correction app. It's not a spelling teaching app. So I'm not talking about a correction app. I'm talking about a teaching app. Okay. This is an app that teaches you spelling. As far as I know, Grammarly does not have a game or activity to help you learn spelling. This is an app that teaches you spelling, not a correction app like Grammarly. Okay. Jay says, Spellmaster. Yash says, I'm downloading it now. Okay, good. And this says, I use 2 of them. Woodpecker. So suggestions. I've seen several over the years. Woodpecker, Fluent U. Okay, good. Jay says Spellmaster. I like the name of that one. Spell Bee app, Alex says. So check them all out. Find out which one works best for you. Which one is the most fun, right? There you go. Elsa, says Anna. Yep, pronunciation and spelling. I agree. We work together with Elsa. So Elsa is definitely, I think, a very good one. Yep, it's one of the most advanced AI apps for pronunciation and spelling. I highly, highly recommend it. Okay. David says, I'm also downloading them now. Don't leave the class. All right. So let's go back to the listening. So spelling is, yeah, if you're losing marks for that, definitely work on it, right? Okay. And like I say, they're kind of fun. So some of those spelling games, I played one where you're like the superhero, and when you spell the words correctly, you get attacks. And it's actually a really, really cool, fun game. As cheesy as that sounds, it really is. Okay, so then you had a little bit of time to look at the last few questions. They talk about the coursework, right? And this is where, I was explaining about logic, right? So the number 27, you had to figure out how much the second essay is worth. Number 27 and 28, there's no way that you should be getting that wrong, okay? Number 27 and number 28 can be figured out with logic alone. Okay? Does everybody see why and how? Right? Because we have 40% plus 20% is 60%. Plus 15% is 75%, right? So 75% minus that from 100, which is usually the total, will give you 25%. So we know that number 27 is going to be 25, right? It's not rocket science as long as you're paying attention. David says, yeah, it's simple math. 27 is 25%, even if you missed it. Same thing with 28. You've got first essay, second essay, midterm exam. If I miss 28, then I will guess naturally final exam, and you'll get it right. Okay? The question 29 comes quickly, and it shouldn't be too hard. It was a little bit more about the first assignment. How long should the first assignment be? Number 29. Anna, correct. It says write no more than 2 words. You have to pay attention, and you have to think, do I need 2 words? If you write 1,500, it is wrong. If you write 1,500 words, it is right. 1,500 pages, 1,500 paragraphs, 1,500 sentences, 1,500 characters, 1,500 words. Okay. So, Dhruv, are you asking me where am I from? I am in Western Canada, in Victoria, Dhruv, as I mentioned at the start of the class. Yes, nice part of the world. So 1,500 words. That's it. Okay. Now, let's take a look at number 30. 30 is what's called an inference type question. There's a lot of information there. You have to try to read it while you're listening so you get a good idea. And then you have to basically decide your answer based on what you hear. Okay, so you cannot really just listen for a keyword. You have to listen to the complete information for this. It's called the inference type question. So let's take a look. The student's class ends at 11:30 a.m. on the day the paper is due. Decide whether a paper handed in is on time or late. Write the correct letter A to B next to question 30. A, the student receives a late penalty. B, the essay is on time, no penalty. Here we go. Courage. The fee for joining the online class is a one-time payment, and if you're in India, it will be $25 US for lifetime access. Okay. All right, so here we go. Number 30. The paper is handed in at 5 p.m. the same day, dropped off at the department office with no timestamp received. Okay, so it's picked up the next day. All right. The class ends 11:30 on the day the paper is due. What does the professor say? The professor says you can hand it in class, no problem. If you hand it in after class, you need to hand it in at the office. And then he warns the student. He says, make sure to get a timestamp so that I know it's handed in on time, because the professor's not going to pick up that paper or the assistant until the next day. They have no idea if you handed it in the same day or the next day in the morning if there's no timestamp. Okay? It's the timestamp that will tell the assistant or the professor that it was the day that it was due, or you took the extra night to finish the paper. And here, there is no timestamp. Be very, very careful when you see these kinds of negative words. Therefore, if there is no timestamp, the student will receive a late penalty. Okay? And that's actually the way that it works in most universities. All right? It's your responsibility. Everybody get that? So the student receives a late penalty. Does everybody understand why? Hopefully. Okay. Now, if you miss this type of question, if you're like, I didn't get that though, Adrian, like, go to the transcripts, check the transcripts, look at the conversation again, and see how this information and the information given in the audio lead to answer. The student receives a late penalty. Okay, everybody got that? So pay attention to those negative words with no timestamp received. Okay. And in real life, if you're in university and then you go and you complain and you're like, I lost 10%, but it was on the same day, I can even tell you who it was. They're going to say, sorry, don't waste our time. I'm not going to go investigate, and I'm not going to waste that administrator's time. The instructions were clear. You lose the 10%. That's not fair. Life is not fair. Okay. You need to be responsible. So that's the way it works. All right. It's the way it works. Of course, a lot of times these days papers are submitted online or through the computer, but some projects are still submitted in class or through the department office. So keep it in mind. Okay, students, how did you do? How did you, what did you get? How did you do out of 10 on part 3? What was your score out of 10? For part 3. Now, part 3, of course, is more challenging than part 1 or 2. Anna says 8. 8 is good. Okay, David is 7. That's pretty good too. Omkar says 8. Kruti says 9. Yeah, as long as you're getting 7 or more, it is good. If you're getting less than 7, okay, that is bad. You need to study. Okay. All right, but 7, 8, 9, 10 on part 3, it's not bad. Okay, it's a solid score. Okay, everyone, let's do part 4. Okay, let's jump into the world of the dinosaurs. So put on your headsets. Let's get cracking. Again, listen, be active. Imagine you're on that dinosaur. You have just been transported back in time 65 million years to the time of the dinosaurs. You are going on a dinosaur safari to explore some of the most incredible creatures ever to roam the earth. Hopefully having a chance to meet with the T-Rex, right? It's like when we go for a safari in Africa, we want to meet with the lion, the king of animals. When we go check out the dinosaurs, we want to meet with the infamous T-Rex. So let's kind of just rewind this back to the start of part 4. Here we go. Listen, answer, save your answers separately. We'll share them later, or after, I should say, and give everybody a chance to answer on their own. Here we go.
Now turn to section 4. Take some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Listening section 4. You will hear a lecture about the dinosaur Tyrannosaurus rex. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good evening, class. If you are registered for Anthropology 322, you are in the right place. Today we will be talking about the most famous of all dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus rex, or T-Rex as it is commonly referred to. This dinosaur has a fearsome reputation, mainly due to popular culture films and books. In this class, we will be discussing the facts regarding the Tyrannosaurus rex, as opposed to its Hollywood depiction. Tyrannosaurus rex lived from approximately 80 to 65 million years ago. Of course, the reason it died out 65 million years ago is the same reason all of the dinosaurs died out at that time: a massive asteroid which hit the Earth and destroyed almost all life. The period in which the Tyrannosaurus rex lived is known as the Late Cretaceous period. This reality is in contrast to fictional portrayals, which often cast the T-Rex as living in the Jurassic period. In fact, T-Rex did not come to be until 65 million years after the end of the Jurassic period. Tyrannosaurus rex was a meat-eater, but it is not entirely clear whether it killed its own prey or if it merely scavenged the prey of other dinosaurs. In our minds, we imagine T-Rex fighting to the death with other dinosaurs, but it is not known for sure whether this is the truth. Tyrannosaurus rex was a large dinosaur. Not nearly the largest, mind you, but still large by any standards of modern-day wildlife. The dinosaur's length was approximately 12 metres, its height could reach 6 metres, and it weighed anywhere between 5 and 7 tonnes. That weight is the equivalent of about 80 average-sized human beings. If humans had been around back then, we would have been the perfect size for an afternoon snack. The location of T-Rex fossils discovered is very interesting. They have been found in western North America, as far south as Texas and as far north as Alberta, and they have also been found in eastern Asia, mainly in Mongolia. How is this possible? How can fossils be found in such different regions of the world? The answer is what geologists call continental drift. The continents have not always been in the same location. They have shifted, and around the time of T-Rex, western North America and eastern Asia were connected. This explains perfectly the discovery of the fossils in the different locations. One of the more well-known interesting facts about Tyrannosaurus rex is that it had extremely short arms. They measured only about 1 metre long, which is very short when you consider the size of the dinosaur. To put such small arms in perspective, it would be as if humans had arms that measured only 10 centimetres. What use would they be? Well, that is one of the questions that has led scientists to believe that T-Rex was a scavenger and not a predator. It is very difficult to believe that it could have been an effective predator, with arms being so important for hunting. Another fact that leads scientists to believe T-Rex was a scavenger was its extremely strong sense of smell. This enabled T-Rex to smell carcasses over long distances, giving it a big advantage as a scavenger. On the other side of the argument, T-Rex had very large serrated teeth, which would have been perfect for tearing through the tough skin of other dinosaurs. If T-Rex was a pure scavenger, it may not have required such teeth. Another interesting point about their teeth was that they were replaceable over time. Unlike humans, who grow only 2 sets in a lifetime, T-Rex's teeth could be replaced over and over throughout a lifetime. Again, this is evidence that they were, at least in part, likely predatory.
That is the end of section 4. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Awesome. How did you like riding the T-Rex? I loved it. I was like attacking other dinosaurs with it. Triceratops. I took down a Triceratops with my T-Rex. That was awesome. Active listening, right? I hope you remembered to be a part of the visualization. I sure was, especially with the T-Rex. Carolina seems like she was. Carolina's like, I even heard it. Anna loves the T-Rex. Anna says, it's my favorite type of dinosaur. Awesome. Okay, everybody. So, just stopping the audio on the website there, and then we'll go back to the answers. Which of these events happened 65 million years ago? Now, she lists them off, right? And she's like, this happened, this happened, this happened. Is it A, 1 and 3? So, 1, the dinosaurs became extinct. 3, Tyrannosaurus died out. Is it B, 1, 2, 3, 4, dinosaurs became extinct, Tyrannosaurus rex came into existence, Tyrannosaurus rex died out, a large asteroid hit the Earth? Or is it C, dinosaurs became extinct, Tyrannosaurus rex died out, and an asteroid hit the Earth? A, B, or C? Correct answer, C, absolutely. Yeah, so a Tyrannosaurus rex came into existence before that, right? So the correct answer is 1, 3, and 4. 2 is not true because T-Rex was on the Earth for millions of years before that, so more than 65 million years ago. Okay, so C is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. Number 32. Tyrannosaurus rex lived during which time? A, the Jurassic time. B, the late Cretaceous period. C, the late Triassic period. Correct answer there? Yeah, it's B. Very good. Okay. Be very careful using information from Hollywood movies. Okay. If it's a documentary, that's good. If it's a Hollywood movie, no. Okay. So if you watch Jurassic Park and you're like, I saw that, it was Jurassic Park. Yep, in Jurassic Park, there are also bubble cars and little children running around. No. It's the late Cretaceous period. Jurassic just sounds better when you're making a movie, but it's not true. They lied to you. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay? Hollywood films are Hollywood films. How tall was the Tyrannosaurus rex? So when you're looking at multiple choice questions, think about them in different ways. Think about them in terms of statements. Think about them in terms of paraphrasing. So how tall, how high, how big, all of those are good ways to think about this. She says that the dinosaur was 12 meters long, right? They had that big tail, right? And they were 6 meters high, right? So they weren't obviously nearly as high as they were long. So the correct answer here is B. Nipa, but your Wi-Fi is back. The cup is half full, right? Okay, so B, they were 6 meters tall. Could you imagine 6 meter dinosaurs looking at you? Little snacky poo. All right. It'd be a scary time to be running around in the forest. All right. Number 34. Write no more than 2 words for each. The theory which explains why fossils are found in very different regions of the world is called. Now, here, you need a little bit of Band 8, Band 9 level comprehension spelling. You learn this information in grade 11, grade 12 textbooks. So when you have a chance, students, a really good tip that I can give you is read the chapter summaries from grade 10 to 12 high school textbooks for math, biology, anthropology, chemistry, physics. Okay. who's doing that? So just like the spelling question about playing the spelling games, which now many of you are. By the way, Continental Drift is the right answer, so good job, Jay. Aisha, Gurpreet, nicely done. 2 thumbs up. How many of you have read some chapter summaries from high school textbooks? You can find them online. Absolutely. Many of these are publicly available. So who's doing it? Anybody look at a English textbook, and it should, obviously you can compare your high school textbooks to the high school textbooks in the US, Canada, UK, and you'll find that a lot of the information will be matching. It's just that in one book it's in your language and in the other book it's in English, right? And encyclopedia is good, but encyclopedia has almost like too much information, so you kind of get lost, and that's why the high school textbooks are really a great way to do it. Okay, Jay says, I love physics books. Yeah, that's great. And make sure you're not just doing physics, do biology, do other books that you might not like. This isn't a ton of work, okay? So a chapter summary is usually 1 page. So I remember my textbooks after, and I remember my textbooks from high school. They're usually 1 page. Okay, and a high school textbook on average will have about, let's say, 12 chapters. So So let's say that you cover all the main subjects like history, biology, anthropology. Let's say that there are about 10 subjects. So you're talking about 150 pages of summaries. Roughly a book. Okay. It's really smart to do that, not just for the IELTS exam, but also for your university studies. Okay? All right? Everybody clear on that? Okay? Everybody clear on that? Yes? So reading those chapter summaries, of course, that's for, 1 year. Like if you're, if you want to read all of them, grade 10, 11, and 12, then maybe a little bit more. But reading that one book of dense, heavy information and, thinking about it, Chayani, not read some articles, but it's really read the chapter summaries, okay, at the end of each chapter. You know the information. You've learned it before. Hanan, it's great that you're reading university level, but here I'm specifically recommending grade 11, grade 12 chapter summaries of textbooks in English, okay? This is the key part here. It's great that everybody's doing all kinds of reading, university, in your major. Books for fun is really important too, so reading novels. That's also great. But here, the focus is chapter summaries for grade 10, 11, and 12 textbooks. Okay? It's very specific that I'm telling you here to do this. Okay? It's not just any old reading, it's this reading. Okay? Follow that tip and you're going to thank me later. Okay? All right. So the theory that explains why fossils are found in different parts of the world is continental drift, right? Like that. Okay, number 34. That's the answer. All right. Then we had this table about the T-Rex being a predator or a scavenger, trying to figure out the habits of the T-Rex. So we have evidence, implication, conclusion. The T-Rex has extremely short little arms, right? Short arms. Keep it simple. Arms are important for hunting, so if you have short little arms, I'm gonna get you. You can probably punch them out. Probably not. Their head is huge. So their arms are important for hunting. So therefore, it's most likely that the T-Rex is a scavenger, number 36. Now, don't get 36 wrong because you have the answer right below it, right there. Okay, you just need to copy it. Same thing for 39. You have the answer right below it. You just have to realize that it's predator. So 39 is predator. Okay. So don't get it wrong. Let's jump back. So strong sense of smell. This one here. That's the evidence. So I'm writing this dinosaur. And the dinosaur's like, that away. So they're able to detect carcasses from long distances. Right? Some animals still can. Here where I live on Vancouver Island, we have some black bears. We have some black bears here on Vancouver Island. Black bears have some of the best smell on the planet for land animals. Fun fact with Adrian. Anybody know how far a bear can smell, for example, a fish? If the fish is, if the wind is blowing towards the bear? It's a fun fact question. Okay, just so you are amazed at our natural world. A black bear can smell a fish carcass from how many kilometers when the wind is favoring the animal? It means the wind is blowing towards the animal. What do you think? Jay says 20. David says 10. People learn this where I live so that they don't put food out when they're camping. A black bear can smell a fish carcass from a whopping 50 kilometers away when the wind is favoring the animal. Okay? So it can actually track it. It can actually go 50K to find that fish. Why? It knows that if it's there's probably more food there, more fish there, and fish is very high in nutrition, and they will go for that fish 50 kilometers away. They will track that fish. So if you're camping and you've got food out, that bear will cross a mountain to get to you. Okay, so careful when you're visiting this part of the world. Okay, fun fact with Adrian. Right? Okay, so scavengers. So T-Rex too probably could smell us from a long, long way away. Jesus, fascinating. Okay, large serrated teeth, big jaggedy teeth, like sharks, right? Serrated means it's like this. Okay, another place where we use serrated is serrated knife. When cutting bread, you should use a serrated knife. Okay, when you're learning new words, pronounce them after me. Serrated, serrated. Use a serrated knife when cutting bread. Large serrated teeth, able to tear through tough skin. Very good, David, Carolina, Anna. Okay. Skin. If you wrote dinosaur skin, it's okay. Skin is fine. Meaning that it is a predator. Yes, yes. Okay. And their teeth, the last one, number 40, what about their teeth? Something about their teeth. They did not have to be careful, and they're probably a predator. Yeah, it's replaceable. It grows back. I wish I had replaceable teeth. I would never go to the dentist. Replaceable. Dentists would be kind of out of work, wouldn't they? Replaceable. Make sure the spelling is correct. There. Replaceable teeth. They did not have to be careful. Not irreplaceable, Gurpreet. You'd get that wrong. It's replaceable. It's the opposite of irreplaceable. Irreplaceable would be wrong because that means that they're not replaceable. Okay? You have to be very careful with your teeth. Okay, students. How did you do there? What did you get out of 40? Or sorry, what did you get out of 10 on section 4? And how did you do on the full exam? If you were here last week, you can add your scores together and you can figure out how you did out of 40. Okay. Anna says, I got 17 out of 20 today. Anna, that's really good for part 3 and 4 together. Okay. Yes, Rabin, I will do reading class next week for sure. Anna says, I got 31 out of 40 total. That's really cool. Jay says, I got 10 out of 10 on that. Omkar, dinosaur skin, as long as it's spelled correct, because you don't have this correct spelling there, but if you spelled it correctly, then you can get it right. Okay. All right. Hindustain says, I'm stuck at 34. Hindustain, check what types of questions you're getting wrong and then review those. By the way, students, just another tool for you on the websites that we're using. Okay. You have a score calculator, and we're actually going to enhance our score calculator. But our score calculator, if you got 34, you got 7.5. Okay. So that would be your score. Anna, you got 31, so you would be a band 7 on that. David says, I got 36. You would be a band 8 on that. Okay, so this is aehelp.com /score-calculator. Okay. Score calculator. You can figure it out, right, for your reading as well. Okay. All right, students. I said that I would take some questions, so I'm going to take some questions. I'd like to do it verbally, though. You can ask questions in the chat as well while I'm trying to connect with students. Through the website, you have this feature, which is the student partner speaking, and I'll try to connect with a few of the students to have questions. If you have a question about the IELTS or the listening section, you can click on the student partner speaking in the website. And then you're going to find some students here always. Right now we have Umar, Sam, Dasari, Shamim in here. And you can ask me a question. Okay. So if you've got a question, you can ask me a question. Sam's reaching out. Sam, hi. Do you have an IELTS question? So if you have an IELTS question, I can help you out with that. Okay. Student partner speaking on the website in your My Student account. It's free to use. You don't have to pay for that. Okay. And you can use it right now to ask me questions. What do you get if you get 25, Jyoti? Meanwhile, Jyoti, if I go to the student partner speaking and I type in 25, you get a band 6, Jyoti. Akira, to improve your reading, there are lots of steps. Of course, the first one is just to read lots every day and check your reading accuracy. Okay. Anna, we're doing live class speaking tomorrow, 2 of them, part 2 and part 3. Okay. All right. Again, if you have a question and you want to talk to me and ask me, you can through the website. Okay. Don't be shy. Jamko says, how do I improve my speaking? Practice your speaking regularly and get feedback. Jamko, tomorrow we're going to have 2 speaking classes, speaking part 2 and speaking part 3. Joining those classes is a great step towards improving your speaking ability. Making sure to be brave, confident, and copying. Okay, so Sam is asking, I'm struggling to speak slowly and I'm too fast of a speaker. Sam, visualize what you want to say before you say it and slow down your speaking with natural fillers and connective words. Okay, that's the answer. I can also call you. Okay, by the way, we don't have to type to each other. Money dear, forget predictions. Okay, so when students say predictions for the next exam, that's just silly. Okay, and it's actually negative because you're focusing on silly strategy instead of focusing on good strategy. Time is valuable. Wasting time on thinking about predictions, yeah, no, don't do it. Okay, doesn't work like that. All right. All right. Good. Okay. So students, again, if you have questions, you can also contact me by accessing your My Student account, and at the top of the My Student account, yeah, you can see it, there's a Contact Us button. You can also send a question that way. Okay. All right. Tomorrow, everybody, I will be back with there's all our awesome students. I will be back tomorrow with Speaking Part 2, Speaking Part 3 live class. Okay. And until then, check out the websites, aehelp.com, join the premium package, click the big red button, General IELTS, gieltshelp.com, click the big red button there. We're here to help you from start to finish, and even after you're done your IELTS. We're here for you to master English, to improve your communication, and to be successful and happy in life and with your studies and with your home and the place that you choose to live. So join us. Okay, that's it for me for today. To get all of our exams, we've got 6 practice exams for you on the website for the listening. Again, you can find those on the websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Thank you so much, Carolina, for moderating the class. Quite a bit of work, especially when questions come up. I hope your weekend starts great, and I hope to see all of you tomorrow for speaking. We will be using the websites, the chat interface, so check your connections, your audio and microphone and speaker setup, and then we'll jump right into it. All right, I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here in Canada, wishing you all a great rest of your day. Much love to all of you, wherever you are. Bye for now, everyone.